12,000 years ago, before the wheel, before writing, before a single grain of wheat was ever farmed, a group of hunter-gatherers climbed a hill in what is now Turkey and built a temple. Not huts, not graves, a temple. And what they left behind would break almost everything we thought we knew about the beginning of civilization. For decades, historians believed the story of civilization went one way. First came farming, then came villages, then came religion, and finally, temples. Settle down, grow food, build a surplus, and only then can you afford to build something sacred. That was the rule, taught in textbooks for generations. Until 1994, when a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt stood on a quiet hill near the city of Schönlurfa and realized the medieval cemetery everyone had ignored for 30 years was something else entirely. What he was looking at was about to force historians to rewrite the opening chapter of the human story. Beneath the dirt, Schmidt's team found massive T-shaped stone pillars, some standing over 16 feet tall, weighing as much as 20 tons each. They were arranged in wide circular enclosures, and carved into their surfaces were foxes, vultures, snakes, scorpions, lions, and boars, animals that once roamed this landscape 11,000 years ago. Radiocarbon dating placed the site at around 9,600 BCE. That made it roughly 6,000 years older than Stonehenge, and older than the pyramids of Egypt by an even wider margin. It predates pottery, it predates metal tools, it predates the wheel. And most shockingly, it predates farming itself. Here's what should not have been possible. The people who built this had no plows, no domesticated animals, no permanent crops. They were still hunting wild gazelle and gathering wild grain. And yet, somehow, they organized enough labor, enough planning, and enough belief to move 20-ton stones up a hill and carve them with precision, without a single metal chisel. Researchers studying the layout later discovered something even stranger. The three oldest enclosures weren't built randomly. Their pillars align almost perfectly along the shape of a giant equilateral triangle, as if the builders stretched a rope across the hilltop and measured the entire complex before laying a single stone. Hunter-gatherers, we were always told, didn't plan like architects. Göbekli Tepe says otherwise. So why would people with no fixed home build something so permanent? Some researchers think it wasn't a place people lived. There are no hearths, no houses, no trash pits found in the oldest layers. It may have been a destination, a place scattered tribes traveled to, gathered at, feasted at, and built together. Almost like the world's first pilgrimage site, drawing people from across the region toward one sacred hill. And here's the theory that flips history on its head. What if it wasn't farming that led to religion, but religion that led to farming? Building something like this, again and again, over centuries, would have required feeding huge crowds of laborers, year after year. And it turns out, just 20 miles from Göbekli Tepe, scientists later found the world's oldest strains of domesticated wheat, dating to only a few centuries after the temple was built. Some archaeologists now believe that need, to feed the people building the temple, may have been one of the very sparks that pushed humans toward planting the first crops. In other words, the temple may have come before the farm, not after it. Civilization, it seems, may have started not with a plow, but with a prayer. Then, around 8,000 BCE, something even stranger happened. The people who used Göbekli Tepe didn't abandon it and let it decay. They buried it, deliberately. Tons of rubble poured over the pillars by hand, sealing the entire complex underground, as if closing a chapter no one was meant to reopen. We still don't fully know why. Was it a final ritual? A goodbye? Or something closer to a warning? Today, Göbekli Tepe is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and remarkably, less than 5% of it has even been excavated. And it isn't even alone. Archaeologists have since found an entire family of similar sites scattered across the same region, a landscape now called Taş Tepeler, the Stone Hills. One of them, Karahantepe, has already revealed carved human figures even more detailed than anything found here. What else is buried across these hills is still unknown. Every new dig has the potential to rewrite the story of how civilization truly began. If a discovery like this exists, buried and forgotten for 11,000 years, what else is still hidden beneath our feet? Subscribe, because we're only just getting started uncovering humanity's lost past.